You were in the chat room earlier. You want the quick cancer update? The people in the chat room know about this because I kind of typed it in, but people in the podcast,
no.
You want the cancer update?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me give you the quick cancer update, and then we'll wrap things up. So, I've got two teams of docs and scientists that are both Western medicine trained. One of them is in a Western medicine research facility that is coming up with new, really promising things, immunotherapy drugs and the new stuff. They still do chemo and radiation, which I'm telling them to go stick in their left, what. But they're doing all sorts of new stuff. They're doing gene sequencing of the tumor that they pulled out of me. It should have been done this week. I've been on the road. I haven't even had a chance to follow up. I'm going to try and follow up with them next week, but they're kind of in a holding pattern or doing what they're doing while I'm bouncing all over the country. Simultaneous parallel track. The alternative place I went in Germany, people that are associated with them are actual Harvard-based oncologists and double PhD doctorate scientists that are developing all sorts of new juju as well.
Scorpion.
No. This is real stuff. NIH approved stuff and write-ups, and I mean like formal real stuff that is on the same promised track of showing real interesting stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, I can't tell you what they're injecting with me because I don't understand it entirely. I know what it's supposed to do, and I know what it actually is doing. And there's patents and things that they don't want me to talk entirely in specifics about it yet because I'm basically a glorified lab rat. I'm a lab rat over here, and I'm a lab rat over here. And whoever gets to either kill me or cure me first wins, right? So the stuff they put me on as of 2 weeks ago, or 2.5 weeks ago, is a two-part stuff. It's the same juju, and part of it is an injectable, like a insulin needle. You jab in your gut like you've got low sugar. You hit yourself with a needle, and blammo, you're done. Every other day, you give yourself an injection. Every day, 3 times a day, they've got this little sauce that is in a little canister, and you kind of squirt it in your hand, and you rub it in. And then the only catch is it's got to penetrate your skin and go through. Well, to stretch your pores open and get it to penetrate and go through, it's the strongest wasabi sauce you've ever smelled in your life. The kind that literally melts the eyelashes off your eyeballs. It is, I mean, I go for wasabi walks. I go outside because my wife says, not in the house you don't. I go outside. I spray this stuff on my hand. I wipe it in, quickly wash my hands, simultaneously with my eyes closed and holding my breath so I don't just completely overwhelm myself. And then I go for a walk, leaving a vapor trail behind me to stay ahead of the vapor, right?
And of course, that if you were having traditional, usual cancer treatment, you would be known as chemo wasabi.
That's exactly right. Very well played. Very well played. So what this stuff basically is supposed to do is it stops cancer's ability to not die. Cancer cells don't die. Healthy cells always die out. Mm-hmm. And then they regenerate. You have new cells come in, take their place, and that's just a cycle of life. Every cell has a birth, life, and death cycle. Cancer cells don't die. They just kind of hang around, multiply, hang around, multiply, and it becomes a big mass. What this stuff does is it blocks the cancer cell's ability to stay alive, and it actually accelerates their death cycle and just starts killing them off. And so they said in about a week you should start to see some gradual shrinkage of what's going on here.
That's the first time I hear that word, yes.
Believe me, this kind of shrinkage I'm happy about. Yeah. My hands are still the same size. My hands haven't changed. So my wife got a cloth fabric tape and actually measured length and width. It was a very oblongish thing. And the baseline, the first time we measured, it was 14 centimeters by 10 centimeters-ish. Mm-hmm. And in a week, it got down to about 10 by 7, which is actually not bad. I can take that. And then I hit the road. I had to keep this thing in a thermos and cold in my suitcase. I had to have the hotel send up a spare fridge to keep this stuff cold because the fridge they had was so blinking.
They're always warm. Those are pathetic, yeah.
The mini bar is so jammed full of stuff you're never going to drink that there's no room to put any of this stuff. So I got a separate fridge, put in the bathroom under the sink, and loaded it up with all this stuff. I've been hitting myself and measuring the best I can. The problem is I didn't bring the thing, and it's hard to measure when you can't see what you're measuring because my eyes aren't over in the side of my head.
Right.
So I took dental floss, and I measured it with dental floss, laid my thumbs down on the paper where the dental floss was, marked it with my thumbnail, and then drew it. And then, of course, I didn't have a ruler, so I grabbed a free metric ruler app. There's an app for that.
Yes. And
measured it out. So the only reason I'm telling you this is because it's not the most accurate way of doing things, and I'm giving the caveat because I'm hedging my bet here. The best of my ability today, it's now down to 7.6 by 6,
well, which is extraordinary.
Which means it's smaller. It's going down.
The next
and down is
you're going to be
and down is good.
And starting fires with you by snapping your fingers.
So, what that means is, if this thing keeps this track forward, and this is gradually starting to go do what it's going to do with itself, it means I don't have the excuse that I'm dying, so I can't do an after show anymore. That excuse goes out the window. I have to keep doing it.
Yeah, I wasn't going to let you go with that one anyway.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think so. Well, long way to get there for a bad punchline. But anyway, it looks like I'm going to be all right for a while. So anyway,
I'll be hit by a car or keel over on the street before you give up the ghost. So although we should just make a vow and say, no, I'm not going first, and then you say the same thing, and then we'll just be too old.
I don't remember who it was. Somebody did that thing where who's going to speak at whose funeral, and it ain't going to be me. That's going to get. I'm going to speak at yours before you're going to speak at mine. I think
I'm making a CD ahead of time. Okay, I've been to enough lately of people that I've known who died early, car wrecks, bike wrecks. That I don't want somebody else to do my highlight reel. I really don't want somebody to set some photos I don't like to some music that I wouldn't have chosen. I think it's wise that everybody writes their own obituary, puts it in the system at the paper, and it's wise that maybe you put together your own highlight reel with the music you choose. And I want it to be something cheerful, for heaven's sake. I don't want them to play, the third movement of Mahler's First Symphony, Frere Jacques, in a minor key, and have everybody dabbing at their eyes. I want, little Dire Straits, Walk of Life, and something to send everybody out with a smile.
I'll let you in on a little secret, which is before I had my chest surgery, which everybody was freaked out about, including my wife and, well, me to a little bit of a degree because they were going to deflate my lung and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I actually made a file of all my immediate family. I actually did my croak this person, croak that person, and I made audio files. So in case I did kick it, that there would be something to play for every one of them at my funeral. So it's a wise thing to do, no matter what one thinks about how things are. And the other thing that you have to do, somewhere, write down your master password for your wife. This is the one thing the guys always forget to do. I've told my wife. I haven't done that. I need to do that.
I have a 17-character password that you will never, ever, ever intuit. And it controls it's the vault for all the passwords that we have. Here it is. But the minute I write it down, of course, you fear that that's the minute that somebody comes into your house and photographs it into your bank account.
Exactly. Anyway.
So I'll just make it password 123 ? Instead of password 123.
With all that maudlin funeral talk, we're going to close out with music from Keith Emerson, who kicked it, and we're going to talk about Lucky Man, which was, of course, a song about the most unlucky man in the world.
Right. Maudlin, my batute. There's such a thing as finding the humor in every element of life, which you manage to do every
gallows humor
to the astonishment of everyone.
Gallows humor. I live by and die by gallows humor. Anyway, thanks, James. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.